Welcome to the Complete Agent podcast. My name's Ian Story. We aim to entertain and educate, I think that's what James says, our industry every week. And as per usual, I'm joined by David Warburton and James Kendall. Good afternoon, good morning, lads.
Thank you for that really slow and awkward introduction, Ian.
I honestly, I genuinely feel that people might have actually switched off.
Yeah.
Maybe.
I was hoping you were going to drop a welcome like you do in the videos.
Well, I did.
There wasn't enough gruff in there.
No, but yeah. I'm sorry. I'll work on the gruff for next week. So, chaps, how are things going in your areas of the country this week? James, we'll go to you first.
Yeah, do you know what? We are absolutely flying. We've had some incredible sales. Incredible sales agreed. Could resist, sorry. But yeah, I think some of the stuff we put in the pipeline in this month is ridiculous. Everything it seems to be turning to gold in terms of listings at the moment. We've got some really strong listings. Rich is, I think when I spoke last week, we were just about to go to a farmhouse. We're taking off another agent. I did put a post in the group about, so just waiting for the video and the marketing assets to come through on that. Big listing that I've got coming on at 2.25. I'm going for a staging appointment tomorrow. My big £3 million pushed back again, unfortunately, because of an operation that my client's having. So that's now happening in June, we will still be in the nice weather. Bit of balance, had a couple fall through, which is frustrating. Couple on the edge, and just finding at the moment stuff is taking quite a while to go through, just in general, whether it's people trying to find somewhere, but general activity levels really busy. We've had to recruit and take on a self-employed viewing assistant, which I'm sure we'll get into later on as well. But no, really pleased everything overall, and just literally about to deliver the last bag and a half of our nearly 10,000 not on the market letters. So that's been a pretty intensive process, as it always is every quarter, getting them all out and getting them all done properly. But then, as a result, the valuations have been coming in thick and fast in the office. And in fact, I'm going to a really lovely one this morning. So yeah, that's my week. What about you, Dave?
Yeah, really busy actually, because obviously I was away, wasn't I, on holiday? And
Did you go on holiday?
I have been on holiday. Yeah, you might have seen my Instagram stories. So, I came back to absolute bedlam, as you would expect. My diary was mental, and I think I said last week actually, I had some buyer letters drop because I did a campaign on behalf of a good buyer who's looking for a house, and got quite a bit of activity on that while I was away, and a lot of my not on the market letters dropped as well. So I came back to valuations. So I've had I think probably like a quieter 2 or 3 weeks actually with instructions. But I think I said to you, Ian, yesterday when we were chatting, they all just seem to come at once, and all of a sudden, my diary is now absolutely mental for the next 2 or 3 weeks. I'm struggling to get people in to get them on the market. I had a chat with a couple last night, two different clients last night, and I'm into June to getting people on the market. That's how busy we've gone. Just can't get them in straight away, but obviously they want to wait. It's got to be right. And when you're doing big houses in particular, you want the weather, don't you? When they've got acreage and stuff like that. But listen, guys, I'm always talking about direct mail weekly. I feel because I'm a massive advocate of it, and I'll never ever apologise for doing it because I just think the results that you can get are just amazing. And I wanted to just talk about a new area that I'm going into. So obviously we've got members in our group who haven't been sending letters at all, and have been really keen to learn how it can impact their business if they do it consistently. And we do say, don't we, that you need to do it not just over a period of maybe 1 or 2 quarters. This is an investment for 12, 18, 24 months. But I think this is a nice little story that will just show you how quick it can take effect. So there's 2 particular areas that I've wanted to try and get into, and I only made the decision to try and get into them properly at the end of last year, start of this year, with the Q4 letter that we did that summarised all of last year. Now, what I sent about 1,000 letters to one particular area in Q4, and I got a great response straight away. I've got 4 instructions there in a brand new area that don't know who I am. And the second not on the market letter landed in that area, and I'm getting people saying to me, we've got both your letters, so they've kept one since December, and now we've got your second one, and I'm booking more again this month. But there's one particular area that's a really tough nut to crack, and it's probably, I think you'll have this, Ian, in particular over in Cheshire. I think there's a lot of agents that are really competitive on fees, and when I say competitive, that's not healthy competitive, just drop the pants competitive, like stupid fees for just because the house values are high. And usually there's about 8 or 9 different agents. This is one particular area that I've tried to get into literally over the last 3 months, and there's a lot of agents in it, but there's a lot of great houses in it. I sent a letter at the end of Q4, a review of the year, to just under 900 houses in this particular area, and I got absolutely nothing back, nothing. So obviously persevered, sent another one this time, and the Q2 letter has landed, and yesterday I booked 4 valuations in that area, and the combined value of those houses is £10 million.
Wow.
It's unbelievable. So it's just, and obviously I've not won them yet, but every single house that is booked is motivated. They need to sell. It's the usual story when you're at this end of the market. They're looking to downsize. Some of them are realising equity. Houses are just pottering around them, and one of them's like 5,000 square feet. It's in an acre.
Sounds awful.
I know, it's probably going to be worth about 4 million.
Oh dear.
It's just, again, another advocate for it. And I feel like I bang on about it a little bit, probably more than you guys do maybe sometimes, but I've just been having experiencing great results. We've booked 11 valuations off the Q1 not on the market letter that we sent out, and mine only landed in the last sort of 2 weeks. So we'll see how many that leads to. But it's like you've said, James, before. It's that compound interest. You've just got to keep doing it. People keep them. We've had a laugh in our group, haven't we? Because you get some interesting responses as well. People not wanting you to send letters again. But equally,
angry people as well.
Yeah, angry people just who have a real problem walking to the recycle bin.
Yeah.
They'd rather ring up and waste 5 minutes venting at you rather than just walk into the recycle bin. So you're obviously got to you got to take the rough with the smooth. But the rough is you might get 1 or 2 in 7,000. And then you'll pick up stuff like I've just talked about that makes it all so worthwhile. And again, on the flip side of that, we've had a few people actually pick up the phone and respond on email to say, I'm not looking to sell right now, but I really like the content of the letter. Keep it up. Look forward to receiving more in the future, and I'll recommend you. We had an old boy ring us yesterday. I think or the day before. I think he spoke to Danielle or Kate, and he was just dead complimentary of it. And he just said, "I'm not selling just yet. It'll be probably in the next 6 to 12 months, but I've kept your last 2 letters and just wait to let you know." I just thought it's really nice. Just really nice to hear, isn't it? So for every person that is aggrieved, there'll literally be hundreds and hundreds more who are really appreciative of what you're doing. So I just want to start on that, lads, really, because my diary is packed with valuations. Next week I'll struggle to do a val because I've got loads of instructions coming on. That's where I'm at the moment, and we're obviously going to come on to team structure, which is the topic of our pod this week, isn't it?
Just on that direct mail as well, is from someone that I used to wear it as a badge of honor. I think I've said this on the pods before. My lead source for inquiries there wasn't one, and it was referral and recommendation. If you're not asking for referrals and people aren't recommending you, then you've got no business. I can remember 2018, I think we did 1 sale for $5,000 in December, and we had not a lot coming on in the pipeline. And I was kind of like, it was sink or swim time. I had to take out a business loan to kind of keep my head above the water. It was only really then that I got kind of serious about what we were actually going to do in terms of, lead generation and level up the business. And there'll be plenty of people that listen to this that, are doing well, doing okay, but you need to make sure that you've got a lead generation strategy and you're consistent with it. It's, me, I love an analogy. It's a bit like going to the gym and having a gym membership and not actually going to the gym. Because if you don't go to the gym, you're not going to get any results. Whereas if you consistently go to the gym, you'll want to like me.
Right. Another side of that as well. I listened to a podcast this week with the Stephen Bartlett podcast, but I listened to the Jimmy Carr episode. I don't know if you've not listened to it.
Yeah.
It's a brilliant episode, and he talks about the journey and not just the success.
People want your life, but they don't want to do the work. That part.
Exactly. But also a lot of I read another one about it's funnily enough about a gym quote, and it was sort of like if you could click your fingers now and have a 6-pack, I don't think it'll make you happy. But the journey to getting the 6-pack and achieving it really will. And it's the same with us. It's nice when somebody picks up the phone, but like you, JK, back in the day in particular, we didn't really have a lead generation strategy. It was more just blanket canvassing and things like that, and word of mouth and referral, and just quick looking for that next quick win, and you're constantly on this merry-go-round. But when you have got a system like this, where you know that even if they don't come in now, they're going to come in bulk, and that's kind of what my last few weeks have been, where not loads of instructions just at this moment, but you'll see in my social feeds over the next few weeks, it's just going to go off, and they're all really great houses with high value and really great fees. So having that proper lead gen strategy and putting it in place, I can't tell you the buzz I get when somebody drops me a message from the office and says, I've just booked this, and they'll send me a link to it, and it's from a letter. Or it's from a social campaign, and it's the work you've put in. And I get more of a buzz from that, I think, than someone saying, John's just recommended you. Because
it's predictable and scalable. That's the other thing as well. So whether you're a one-man band or whether you're looking to grow, if you look at, like you just said yourself, you're looking to move into other areas, it's predictable, it's scalable, it's measurable, and it works.
Yeah. It works. And I think obviously as well, just going back to my area, this new area that I want to get into, great area with lots of multi-million pound houses, and even the other one, the gold that Ian always talks about, the $500,000 up to $1 million. There's loads of them. And it's just about getting, we all know, once you get one or two in the area, you're off and running. Because again, these direct mail letters and things like that, we've done the mini series, and we've said, go back through that, make sure you look right, have a look at how you look, etc. People are not just going to book a valuation off the back of a letter. Even if they love the content, they're going to want to see what you're about. So you need to make sure that you do look the part. And again, that's other feedback I've been getting. In fact, great piece of feedback yesterday. One of the particular properties that I've booked a valuation for is worth between probably 1 and 1.1 million. A really nice executive home, and it was on the market last year with actually a self-employed agent. And he said it was on for about a month. She gave us a poor pricing strategy, but we went with it, and he said, I'm only saying it's poor because she gave up after about 2 or 3 weeks. I said, you gave up? And he said, yeah, well, the pricing strategy put together didn't produce any results. We didn't get a lot of people through the door like she said we would do. So she obviously doubled down on that. And he said, but then when I went on a website, and he said, I wish I'd done the due diligence before. I went on a website. She's selling stuff at the lower end of the market where when you adopt one of these pricing strategies, it probably does generate a load of viewings. But when she got to my level, it didn't. And when we were sort of saying, what's the plan? What's the next step? She didn't have one. And, again, it comes down to having a proper plan in place. I know, look, this agent in particular, by the way, is decent. She does quite a lot in that particular area at a certain level. But that's the impression that was left with him. When he eventually did properly check her out, which he said himself he should have done, it didn't really match what his house was. And he was quite complimentary then to say, I've checked yours out, I've watched your videos and stuff like that. He said, this is the kind of thing we need. So again, goes right back to the start of that mini-series, doesn't it? How do you look? So make sure you get all that bit right, and then nail your lead generation strategy.
So Ian, 15 minutes in, mate. How's your week been?
Gosh,
we'll let you talk.
Just realised we've not asked you that, mate.
That's what happens when you do the intro. Everyone else goes off, and when you're like, well, how's my week been?
I've been scrolling Insta the last 15 minutes. So, busy. Obviously, things are busy. Bit of sort of context behind that for you. So, I'm just doing loads of photo shoots at the minute. I feel like I'm not really doing any vals, although I have got a couple of good ones today. But loads of photo shoots. The weather's been pretty kind to us. We were doing a lovely one yesterday, in and out of the house. Like for 4 hours we were there. It's sunny, it's not sunny, it's sunny, it's not sunny. We're like in and out with the drone up, drone down, trying to get it all looking mint. And I think we managed it. So no, generally things are busy. Our pipeline is now as good as it was in 21, 22. So that's brilliant. But with that comes a lot more instructions, you know, so as I'm sure everyone's finding, to get to the same level of sales, we've got to have a lot more on the market. So there's a lot more vendor management on a weekly basis, which generally speaking is going fine. Literally spoke to a client yesterday morning, really nice guy. We sold his house for him in 21 and it got like 40 grand over marketing price in a week. So he gave us this house to sell. This has not gone quite as well as that one did. So it's a bit more of a reality check for him, but he's sticking with us. And I said to him yesterday, Dave, look, it's, you know, we're in a normal market situation now, so you just have to be patient. Sometimes you've not got a viewing for a week or two, and you've got to be patient. We're making sure the marketing is fresh. We're doing all we can in the background. And then yesterday, 2 viewings booked on it. And I've just WhatsApped him this morning saying, I told you, Dave, it's crazy. You know, the viewings will just come along. They are like buses. So there's a lot more vendor management going on. I agreed a sale, a really good sale at 1.625 this week. It's taken me 2 weeks to agree the sale. They've been back to second view it in that time, which is good. And that was a really good one that we've agreed. Great location. And then the next morning, one fell through at 1.675. So ever was it thus. But generally speaking, good. Phil's doing well with listings. We'll come on to team structure. I was going to talk about the team, which is expanded, but we'll come on to that in the pod. Phil got a really good listing off the back of a nom this week. A new build in a lovely, really desirable Cheshire village at 950. Really unhappy with Savills, who it's been on with. We've got price reduction on it, and that's a new listing that's come directly off a nom. I'm going to another really good nom, 7-acre farm. Another guy who's wanted to sell this year as well. I was looking at our responses from our not on the market letters. So the response from the letter that we sent out at Christmas, we've had, we did 26 appointments in total. And we had 4 people call to say, we're not selling, but thank you for the letter. I mean, how nice is that? They take the time to ring and say thank you. I love that. So they're probably not going to sell to anyone else when the time comes. And off this latest letter that we've sent, so far we've booked in 8. And we've had 2 direct instructions so far. So bearing in mind our average fee is 14,000, that's 30 grand's worth of sales.
That's terrible, mate. You need to get that up.
Off spending about 5 grand, which obviously I'm really disappointed with, James. So I'm probably going to stop sending direct mail.
I would.
Then, in terms, that was a joke. No one laughed.
I'll be honest. I was scrolling through Instagram.
Then a few other things I picked up on there from you chaps. I also saw some of the Jimmy Carr interview with Steve Bartlett. One of the things that really resonated with me from the Jimmy Carr interview was that he said that we all live like kings, and that we all we're in the time in history where we just live like absolute kings. We have an abundance of food, generally speaking, in this country. You know, we never want for anything. So there's absolutely no reason to moan, he was saying. You know, you have an absolutely beautiful life, a life that a lot of the population of the world would kill for. So you've
hot showers. Did you hear the shower bit as well?
Yeah, hot shower every day. Yeah, even 50 years ago, people didn't have that.
No.
He was saying, amazing. So that really, any down moments you're having, watch that interview with Jimmy Carr, because he was really, really good.
It was a brilliant interview. It really, really was.
He's really good. He went to Cambridge, you know, Jimmy Carr. He's clever.
He's really clever.
Yeah.
But even if you don't like him as a comedian, it's a brilliant interview.
I love him as a comedian. I've been to see him loads of times.
He's really
I've met him. Have I told you that? Yeah. That's really good.
Not bad.
Wow.
It's just a laugh backwards, isn't it?
Yeah. Yeah, really good.
Thanks for your input.
Brilliant.
Then,
what were you saying?
I just wanted to touch on the letters, which we say all the time, but just to reiterate it, that the letters are only one part of your marketing mix. So the success that we get off our letters is not just because we've sent one letter. It's because we've been sending letters for 3 years. It's because of all the other marketing things that go in with our social media, with the quality of our marketing, our boards, our customer service, all that sort of stuff. So it's not definitely not just the letters.
Just doubling down on that, Ian, before you move on, because that is such an important point. And again, I touched on it just then. But you're right. If you write an amazing letter and then it lands and somebody goes, that's really interesting, and then they go on your social media and your social media is garbage, or you've not posted for the last 3 months, or your website really is poor, they're probably not going to pick up the phone.
Yeah, indeed. Is your marketing the same standard on everything? Is there a video on everything? Is it style?
There's no gravitas behind it, though, is there?
No.
If you don't, again, it all comes down again to how you look, doesn't it?
Yeah, I mean, our membership of the Complete Agent is growing, isn't it? It's growing now. We've got over 20 people coming to the mastermind in a couple of weeks. Yeah, really, really, really excited for that. But we do get questions from new members. How many responses have you had to the letter? And I the first thing I think is, well, don't send the letters and expect to get loads and loads of vowels if it's your first letter and if you've not got the whole marketing mix.
No.
You've got to have everything and you've got to commit for a longer period of time. The other thing I was going to mention that's really working well for us at Stories now, really, JK, it was you that made me think of this, James. We had a conversation on the pod the other week about, do you put a board up before it goes on Rightmove?
Yeah.
And I've always said, no, I don't like doing that because I want people to see the board and then be able to go and see the listing when they see the board. It's not on Rightmove. I don't like that. So what we started doing off the back of that straight away is we started putting up coming soon boards.
Yeah.
So every property, unless the client says we can't, every property, we now have a coming soon board that goes up straight away when we get the instruction. So our boards stand out. We have a lovely green board, but then the sold slip is yellow. So they stand out like a sore thumb driving down the road, which is the idea. So then when the board goes up now, it has a yellow coming soon strip on it.
Well, people can't argue then, can they? I can't see it on your website or the particulars.
You've met a lot of my clients.
Yeah.
So they look brilliant and they're really popping up. And we've had 2 vowels off the back of those.
Yeah, there you go. Just don't know where you're coming from, do they?
It's coming on. Oh, well, have I got time to get mine on to try and secure it? Of course you have, Sally. I'll pop out and see you.
Yeah, brilliant, mate. Brilliant.
So, full stop. Let's talk team structure, shall we?
Yeah, let's go for it. I mean, Story, you're probably double the size of myself and Dave in terms of team members. Not members, team members. So, I mean, what shall I? Who's going first? Shall I go first?
Yeah, crack on.
So one of the things I think I said to you before we actually
just
record.
before you do, JK, sorry, it might just be
lead generation.
Just give a quick overview of like what your business is really, because
that's a good point.
That'll help understand why your structure is the way it is. Yeah. So you obviously what I'm saying there is obviously
you go first.
Okay, fair enough. So you can copy me, right? Well, mine. So I'm open about this at the moment. And you guys know I am working insane hours because I am very severely understaffed, and I am going through some structural changes at the moment. We've not all got it figured out, and we have had some internal changes over the last 6 to 12 months. But one of the things that it forced me to do is really think about where I want both businesses to go. Burton James is flying. The mid-range brand We Locate was also doing extremely well, but it wasn't where I necessarily wanted it to be in terms of its presentation, etc. I wanted it to become more of a watered-down version, potentially, of Burton James. I won't go into too much about that, but because it's about team structure. So I lost 2 key members of staff last year, and I say staff. Aidan, if you're listening, you're going to tell me off. It's team members. I do apologise, and that's how I do see them. But I lost 2 important team members last year. So my structure is I have a finance company, We Locate Finance. I have my sort of resi brand, which is your mid-range stuff that'll do in my area anything from like £150,000 up to maybe 4.5, £500,000. And just dead briefly, I wanted to get into the higher end market, so I rebranded completely. I set up a completely new brand to go and attack the higher end, which I've done. So I have a higher end brand as well, but I also have a lettings brand. So effectively, there's like 4 businesses there. And my resi brand was kind of looking after itself while I was able to set up the higher end stuff. I had a very, very good sort of valuer who used to go out and do great things for me. on my Resi brand. But he decided to go off last year and have a go on his own, which, I totally respect. If anybody wants to do that, that's absolutely fine. But at the same time, so did my financial advisor. So it left me really short. So I took a decision at that point, rather than immediately jump straight into recruitment, to you're both smiling. I'm guessing that I've frozen or something, but as you know, we record these on separate channels, so you will be able to hear it. They're both laughing at me, guys. If anybody's listening to this is why sometimes we pause, because we're obviously watching each other on screen. So anyway, I took the decision not to just jump into recruitment, because I think sometimes if you rush into it, you can get the wrong bum on the wrong seat, etc. And I really wanted to restructure my business. So took a step back, accepted that it was probably going to be a tough 6 to 12 months personally, in particular for me, of longer hours, because I was going back on the front line on both businesses. And also the knock-on effect of that was for the team as well, because we have had a lot of backs to the wall moments over the last 6, 12 months. We're still extremely busy and with team members down. So yeah, I've been in a transitional period, and I'm now in a position where I think we know the where we're going to go with things, and I need to bring in certain people. So, like for example, I need somebody probably on the lettings department as a full lettings manager. I've got myself, obviously, who does front end valuations. I'm going to need some support on that, so I'm looking to restructure it on that side of things as we move forward. It's so my. I guess really I'm going to hand back to you guys at the moment as well, because Ian, I think you're in a position obviously where you're quite a bit more established, I would say, maybe not years gone by, because we've all been in it at similar times, but you've got to a point now where you have really grown your team. And JK, you and I have been on a similar journey in a way. We've both had to take a little bit of a step backwards to change things. But for me personally, my team structure is kind of, because I've got sales, finance, lettings, higher end brand, there's almost like 4 different businesses there and 4 different dynamics. So mine is kind of recruiting for each part of the business. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm. So in terms of me, I mean, I've kind of gone backwards to go forwards again. So back in sort of 2017, 2018, our structure was we had 3 sales, negotiate kind of traditional structure where 3 sales negotiators, had a manager basically running the office. And then I was kind of quite lucky in a position where I almost took a step back and kind of did a bit on the business, kind of worked in the business, but didn't really do an awful lot. But, we were doing £1,800 plus VAT sales. So, whilst I wasn't necessarily involved in the business at the time, I wasn't really making any serious money. So then when my manager left, again, there's a theme here, isn't there? And people go off and do their own thing. That's when I really decided to level up and change structure. So that's when I brought things like partner agents in. And I'm really lucky to have Rich with me now, really great partner agent. And, also he's like having a business partner as well, because he's an experienced guy, and, he's lends his life experience, and he's had businesses in the past as well, with other things that he does and has done. So it's quite good to lean on him. But just in terms of the actual physical office structure, we've now in a position where, and again, I can't stress this enough, having the right bums on the right seats and the right people doing the right jobs is crucial. And one of the things that you do have to do is get comfortable being uncomfortable, having conversations with people. So, there was somebody in my office who has been with me a long time. And I always think of him like a little brother. I love him to bits. He's a brilliant guy. But I had kind of taken him from, working at a fairly low level job, bringing him through the business where he's been with me for 8 years, and naturally kind of pushed him up the ranks. But he didn't really want to do it, if that makes sense. He just did it because, that's what he was kind of told to do. And he was going out to vals and kind of managing clients, because our structure kind of was that, that we were kind of like a brokerage. So almost the employed parts of the team were working like self-employed agents would do. So that they would take the listing on. I mean, they wouldn't take their own photos, but they would take the listing on, manage the client from start to finish, do the viewings, and then pass it over to sales progression. But he was really struggling on conversions because, obviously we'd leveled up our marketing and we'd gone from charging 1% or 1,800 quid to, him personally, average fee between 5 and 7 grand, 1.5% plus VAT. And, his conversion rate was shocking, and I then had to have a conversation and go, I had him doing probably 1 in 6, 1 in 7, gross. And then another team member who's, again, a lot better at converting, doing 1 in 3, 1 in 3.5. And I, looked at the numbers, and it was like, crikey, how much money have I lost here? Just through not really wanting to kind of upset anyone, if that makes sense. That sometimes probably being a bit too nice and a bit naive on that part. But I sat him down and said, look, this can't happen anymore. I'm taking you off this role, and we're going to have some changes in the business. I had to make some changes, and people left, and I moved people around and restructured. But now I feel I'm well. I mean, the proof's in the pudding. If you look at our results for the last 3 months, where we've made the changes, it's really started to come to fruition. So now, and particularly, again, I think it's testament, they say you're the sum of 5 people you spend the most time with. And obviously I spend a lot of time with you guys talking on the phone, and obviously we do the pod, etc. And I just think it's valuable for me. I won't go into it too much, but, things, Dave, like the whole valuation thing that you do in terms of the data has been transformational for me. Having the benefit of Story and his structure and marketing and be able to bounce ideas off both of you, I think has been transformational for me in all areas of my business. But just sometimes it is lonely at the top. And I do think that even members of TCA, like we had our members Zoom meeting on Tuesday, and just being able to go around the room digitally and kind of, talk people through agency, because everyone's having the same problems. But the problem is, if you're not part of something like TCA, you can put a post on a Facebook group every now and then, and you'll get everyone and their dog chiming in. But when you're in a group full of, people that want to be high performing and people that are high performing elite professionals, being able to have the confidence either in a mastermind or on a Zoom call to be able to go, look, this is happening. What would you do? And have 15, 16, 17 other business owners on that call, and people that have been through it and mentoring you. It just, again, it is life changing. Anyway, back to structure. So now I do the bulk of the high end stuff, which probably won't surprise you in terms of the valuations and take-ons. But and then Chloe and my team, she does basically everything up to kind of 550, 556. We do brand stretch. We are in the midst of splitting our brands, so having 2 brands, but currently do brand stretch. We have Richard, who's a partner agent, really successful, does his own area, manages his own viewings, manages his own diary, and is a phenomenal worker and has basically built James Kendall Estate Agents, Lavenden/Oni in the area here on his own, off his own back, door knocking for a year. People look at him from the outside and go, cool, if that guy can do it, I must be able to do it. People have come in, tried and failed because they're not prepared. Like Jimmy Carr said, they want his life, but they don't want to do the hard yards behind the scenes that he's done. And then structure in the office, I've got Sandra, who's our super sales progressor, that she saves more than anything. I mean, the reviews we get are incredible. Our exchange rate is like mid 80%. And the average in the area, Simon Gates did our stats for us on Tuesday. And the area average for a home that goes on the market between MK40 to MK46 inclusive, so that's my area and Rich's area, the average agent that lists the property, only 48% exchange. So there's 52% that don't exchange, that come to market in that area. And that's year to date, which is, to quote Ian's Story, incredible. But the stats don't lie. And I think having the right team in place. So again, Matt now is much more of an admin based role, does the odd viewing because he has the experience, but he is I wasn't going to mention him by name, but it's obvious if he's listening, he will listen to this as well. He's doing a great job and is thriving in this role now where he can kind of be client customer experience, do the odd viewing if we need the odd viewing covering from the office in the week. But
it's an important role, that really important role, the client experience role.
He's a rock. He's a rock in the office. So, he's reliable, he lives close to the office, and he's happy now because he's working Monday to Friday. He was working for the past 7.5 years. He's been working every Saturday, pretty much.
Yeah.
And he's a young lad. He wants to go out and do things with his mates. And Saturday now isn't a necessity for him. He can do Monday to Friday and be the rock in the office. And then we've got, so Chloe does the kind of lower to mid end. I do the mid to upper end. But now, thanks to you and Story, I suppose, we've now gone down the route of self-employed viewing specialists. And we've just taken on a viewing specialist that, we did training the previous week. So I took her on an open day with me because I wanted to show her how I wanted things done. She picked it all up, did her first proper one on her own last weekend with 3 separate viewings, like three separate viewing blocks on different houses, and every single house sold. And we had some amazing feedback from the sellers and the buyers. And I think that's the way we will go now because, again, Chloe is currently working Saturdays and I'd much rather, she's part-time. I mean, she does incredible numbers for someone that's part-time. But moving her from a Saturday to a Thursday and doing Monday to Thursday, freeing her up from going out to do viewings on properties and having her concentrating on valuations and generating business is going to be transformational. And that's something that's just recently been put in place. I just think it's going to be transformational. We're actually recruiting for a videographer as well at the moment. We've got an interview happening on Saturday. Or photographer/videographer. So we're moving in the right direction. Having the right bums in the right seats is crucial because just to go back to 2018 really quickly, I used to take all of our photos. I used to do all of our floor plans, all of our videos, and I was essentially the company photographer, videographer, social media. So if I went on holiday for 2 weeks, nothing happened. People were going, oh, when can you come back and when can you do this? And, I am much more effective as an agent, without blowing smoke up my own arse. I'm a really good estate agent. And the amount I pay our current outsourced photographer, which is brilliant, by the way. And the only reason we're looking for someone in-house is because I can't get him quick enough. We are booking in as a U-Day for June. And if we had somebody in-house that was just us, not only would they be able to do our own little mini projects and side things that we've got that we'd like to do, but we'd be able to get them in a lot quicker and just having access to somebody there. But I probably pay my photographer and copywriter the best part of 70 grand a year. To put that into context, I, in the last 3 weeks, have generated 90 grand's worth of gross business, just myself, just me. So, what am I more powerful doing? Am I more powerful being an agent or am I more powerful being a videographer?
Do you know what? This is the important thing about team structure. Just wary of time, guys, as well. So, and Ian's got loads of value to add here. But I think that is the important thing. Where are you best spending your time? And I think I'm still in a little bit of, I'm doing stuff that I shouldn't be doing. At this moment in time, obviously, because of the backward steps we've had to take, that has been as a result of that. But you really need to sort of get rid of the lower end jobs. I think somebody used to say to me, get rid of that. You shouldn't be doing like the £10-11 an hour jobs.
Yeah.
When it should, a professional administrator can be doing that and do it much better than I can. But you need strong team members. I'm very, very fortunate that I've got amazing team members. The ones that are with me have been with me since almost the beginning. And they are very, very good. But having that structure, so we, thinking about the outsourced people as well, professional videographer, professional photographer, a professional copywriter, we have all that.
High level as well, quality outsourced. Just one more thing I was going to say on that as well is I I did some work with JP, John Paul, who's like an agent consultant in like structure and management, probably about 4 or 5 years ago. And one of the things he said stuck with me, and is it's better to have a hole in your business than have an arsehole in your business. And, you know, I've been through that pain before, because if you've got toxic members in your team, it is just, you looked at me funny there, Dave, because I said pain and hole and arsehole. You're immature.
I was just thinking that you are the arsehole in your business.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah. It's not an option for my team. But yeah, it's better to have that, you know, than have someone toxic in that environment. And, you know, you just have to get, if you want to grow and move forward, sometimes you do have to cut off the deadwood and start again. And like you haven't cut off the deadwood, Dave, and I'm not trying to aim that at you, but I'm just saying there's changes in your business that have just happened.
Yeah.
And rather than just filling it with somebody else and going, right, I'll go and get a lister from, I don't know, XYZ and Co. Like, you've decided to use that as a catalyst for an opportunity to transform your business and have the business you want rather than the business you had.
And it's taken a bit of time to get there, but you know, I'm very fortunate. Like I say, I've got team members that have been with me for ages, very strong, and they are extremely good with the clients. And I think I've said it on one of the pods already. If you look at reviews, you rarely get mentioned. It's always your strongest team members that deal with these clients right through to completion that get all the plaudits, and rightly so. They're just so good, and they've always got my back and looking out for me. And you need those types of people.
Yeah,
and they've all got their own expertise. And I don't think you should never be ashamed to say, I mean, I'm not an incredible businessman. I'm not a CEO. I consider myself to be an extremely good estate agent who's like you, JK. I'm front end of the business. I'm in front of clients. That is my strength, winning business, educating the market, things like that. And that is my strength. And really, I've got people who are better than me at a lot of the other things. And it's, you know, I often think of, because I'm a big football fan, I look at my, you know, the teams as an elite football team. You know, you wouldn't carry a bad striker or a bad defender unless you're Man United. A suffering Man United fan I am.
I'm going to say it's a bit of a sore subject for you as a Man United fan.
It is.
Let's not go into football.
No, anyway, let's move on to you, Ian, because I think, Ian, you've got loads of value.
Rugby analogies.
You've obviously grown your team and your business superbly well. We've already mentioned on a couple of the podcasts where you've almost become, because for me, again, I'm a bit more, I am more lower volume, higher fee at the moment, but you, by default, doing all these consistent things have now become higher volume, high fee, and with that, you've had to grow your team, and I think you've done it exceptionally well. So do you want to just run through your team structure, mate?
Yeah, so I've been writing down a few notes as you've both been speaking, so I'll come on to the team in a second, but I just think it's important to note that it all starts, so to get all the results for the clients and the great profit margin, it all starts at the top with being the attraction agent. So you need to be the agent that people want to sell their house with. So there's loads that goes into that. All the marketing mix, we've talked about consistency across everything, being selective on not selling shitholes, loads of different things that go into the top to be the attraction agent. That then means you can charge the right level of fee, which people understand is good value. So you can generate the right level of fee. That then allows you to have the right team in place because you've got the income. That then allows you to provide and maintain the service level. That then delivers the results to the client, which then delivers the profit margin to you.
Brilliant point. Great point.
You have to have all that in place. So people would look at us and say, wow, we've got a team. But by the way, we've got 10 full-time now, including me and Al, and 7 part-time. So you could look at that and go, whoa. And last year we only sold 49 houses. But of course, on the right fees, that's a different level.
Your average fee was what, 14 grand, you said?
Yeah, 15, yeah. So you've got to have all those things in place, first of all. So that our team structure started with me and Al, because obviously there was no one else at the beginning. I did everything outbound and most stuff inbound because Freddie was still not school age. And then Al picked up everything as she could. I obviously couldn't have done any of it without Al. But our team is me, Al. So basically, Al does whatever is needed. Alex is my wife, for those who are listening. Al does whatever is needed on the day. So she's actually a trained solicitor. She's a qualified solicitor. So she's got a brilliant legal mind, a brilliant detailed mind. So I always jokingly say I'm the mouth and she's the brains. I can go out and sell to people while she picks up all the all
So
the
no
detailed
joke there.
pieces.
Yeah.
So Al does whatever's needed on the day. She's been doing too much viewing basic stuff recently for my liking, but that's changed because the team has grown. Then Aidan was our first member of the team that joined us. Aidan came in initially and he was doing viewing booking and that sort of thing. But as it's grown, Aidan is now our ops manager. So Aidan is an absolute ledge and really cares. I would argue he cares very nearly as much as I do about the company.
Yeah.
He's brilliant. I can just completely rely on him, and the team all look up to him. So Aidan deals with anything operationally. So not the basics of the business, which is booking, viewings, and feedback. Obviously, is very important. Aidan would deal with. So, for instance, at the minute we're migrating to Street, or we're putting in place new letter campaigns. He's in the office more than me as well, so the team look up to him for advice and guidance. He is brilliant. Phil was our next member of the team that joined. Phil came in at the bottom as well. Phil was stacking shelves in Asda 3 years ago. He's now listing £1.5 million houses at 2%. Phil came in doing very much the basics of the business, which is what I wanted. So he was completely fresh to it. He joined us. He was literally in this office where I am now, which is our old office. He was booking viewings during those busy times. And then he is now valuer as well. So currently on the market, more of the stock is what Phil's listed than what I've listed. Phil typically has been doing more sort of mid-lower end, so sort of under 800, under 700.
Terrible. How does he cope?
Can I just ask a question about Philian? Quick one for you. And when you brought him in, did you bring him in with that in mind? I want to train somebody up. No, that's interesting. So what was he for then?
He was, we needed someone to book viewings, do feedback.
Right, and then he's just shown the nose to grow and want to...
He impressed us from day one, did Phil, because when he came, he had his iPad with a pre-prepared list of questions for the interview. Yeah. So when I said to him, have you got any questions? He went, yeah, just bear in about 7 questions that he'd written down before he came in. Most people in interviews go, don't know, I think you sell houses. Phil was like, yes, I've got 7 questions here. I can see that you've been trading since... So he was impressive from day one, but he just grew into the role, and I saw something in him when he'd been here a while. I think he had the gift of the gab, so I chained him up on negging sales first of all, and then that's just migrated into listing. So he's doing well.
We have an old head on younger shoulders, though, isn't he, as well?
He is an old head.
You get that impression speaking to him.
Yeah, he's not 30 yet, and he's an old head on younger shoulders. And of course, Phil's good, and behind Phil is the brand. So a combination of the Stories brand and Phil is proving really good.
100%.
Then Vicky was our next recruit, and I smile when I think of it because she's just a total ledge. So Vic did 20 years.
Is she one that fell off the video?
She's the one
Is she okay? Well, there's a blame, there's a claim.
Yeah. Do you know what? Vicky is just a total ledge. So she did 20 years first class BA cabin crew. So her customer service is amazing. She's brilliant with people, like calming people down, and she's brilliant. She's brilliant. So Vic came in initially in the office to do basics again, viewings and stuff, viewing feedback and stuff. She started as a viewing specialist for us and then came over full time. I soon realised that Vicky is definitely not technically minded, so she's not good with a computer, but with a person. With a person, there aren't many people who are as good as Vic with people. So Vic has slowly, her role has changed, and she's now our home stylist. So Vic goes out and does all of our pre-style meetings, and then she's there on every shoot when we're there on the shoot. So Vic does that, and then when she's not got those to do, she dibs in a bit with the viewing feedback when needed and stuff. She's also in charge of things like sending out birthday cards, sending out anniversary cards, sending out all those sorts of nice little touch points. She hand delivers the pre-list pack, all that sort of stuff. Then, as the company was growing, by the way, in this time, the 2 people have left the company that joined us that weren't the right fit culturally. Mm-hmm. So we had 2 people who joined us and then left. They just weren't the right fit culturally, but I feel like everyone that's here now is the right fit. Holly, also a ledge. Holly was working, she was a TA in a primary school, hated it. She's our photographer's girlfriend, and she fancied to go at designing some brochures for us. This is a couple of years ago. So we said, well, have a go at designing some brochures. She designed some and she was brilliant. So we ended up offering Holly a full-time creative role. So Holly designed all of our brochures. She was also doing all of our social media output, any little things that need designing. She's done stuff for The Complete Agent too, hasn't she? And for you boys. Yeah. she's really, really good. So Holly's full-time creative. Holly's got too busy recently because of how much we've grown. So we brought in Ollie. So Oliver does 2 days a week for his part-time creative, Holly and Ollie.
Yeah.
Ollie's only just started and he's doing 2 days a week. So he's helping with the social media output side of things because Holly's got a bit too busy. Eleanor was our next recruit. Eleanor was working in Manchester, didn't really like the commute, lives locally. So Eleanor's come in as like our first office rock. So Eleanor books all the viewings, does all the feedback, passes any offers over to me. She also books in all the photos and video appointments.
Yeah.
One of the team members who left a bit of a hole there. So which Eleanor's been really, really busy trying to mop everything. So Mandy's recently joined us. Mandy was also a viewing specialist and came over. So we've got a bit of a pattern there. So Eleanor and Mandy are now like our two office rocks. So they do all the viewing feedback, all that sort of stuff. They will also be sending out the terms, the memos, and they will also be doing the AML and the proof of funds, which me and Phil have been doing recently. And as you've just alluded to, I am completely the wrong person to be doing proof of funds checks. I'm not that way inclined. Put me in front of people any day of the week. So we have there me and Al, Aidan Ops, Phil Valuer, Vicky, Home Stylist, Holly and Ollie creative team, Eleanor and Mandy office rocks.
Cool.
So they're the main office team.
Dave, one thing you have to do, mate, is you have to take your mic off mute if you want to speak. Don't know if you know that.
So what we've recently done, and he's joining us in a few weeks, is bring in a full-time in-house photographer.
Yeah.
So Scott, who was working for our media company, our photography company that we outsourced to, is coming to work in the team full-time.
Yeah.
Which is really exciting. So he can do all of our photos, but also we can do some extra. I've got a few exciting ideas for projects that I want to do because he's also a videographer. So Scott's coming into work full-time, which is brilliant. So it means we can do things like, for instance, it's a sunny morning this morning in Cheshire. So Scott could go out now and do some photos on a house.
Yeah.
Rather than wait a fortnight for the photography company.
Yeah.
That's brilliant. And then Michelle is our sales progressor. And by the way, lads, I think she's sticking with us after all that.
Oh, really?
I have a job.
Because we're moving over to Street's sales progression system is much better than Rex.
Yeah.
So Michelle, we've had a conversation with Michelle, and Michelle is basically our outsourced sales progressor. Okay. However, I've known her for 20 years. I've been friends with her for 20 years. We used to go out drinking, actually. We're mates back in the day. And we've always been really good friends. She's got loads of experience in the industry. And so I really trust Michelle. So I outsource it to her because I know it'll get done properly. She was thinking of leaving us, and I was going to bring that in-house as well because I don't trust self-progression companies enough. No. But she said to us, because she thinks Street's sales progression system is better, she can therefore have more of the sales progression info on Street, and then we're not as reliant on her at weekends and when she goes away in evenings and that sort of thing.
Updates and stuff.
She thinks she's going to stick with us. And then we've got 6 part-time viewing specialists.
Yeah.
Self-employed that we have do our viewings for us. So that is our current team. And with growth moving forward, I think the next person I would bring in will be someone else who could value.
Yeah. Just to free you up.
Just to free me up even more, yeah. And allow us to list more. I mean, it's interesting looking at what's available that Phil's got more on than I have currently. So that's the next, I think that will be the next role.
I think what we're seeing here, guys, is obviously there's different structures for where we're all at in the journey. Like I say, Ian, you're at more volume now as well, so that naturally brings its other challenges. So you've had to take more people on. Yeah. Where I'm at is lower volume at the moment, but still plenty to go at, and we need to recruit. But and JK, you've been in a similar boat. But what is key from all of us? I mean, obviously, this podcast really is more about sort of mid to higher end. So obviously, I know I have lettings and finance, so I'm not going to really dwell on those. But mid to higher end stuff, which we are targeting really. there are certain things that we have that we never compromise on, and you've got to have, I think, people who are really good in their field at doing those things. So I didn't really go through full team structure, really, just skirted over the sort of dynamics of my business, but I think we all have it. So I have an in-house home stylist who will go out and style all the houses and stuff like that. We also have, like you said, Ian, you've used the word rock a few times. I'm fortunate to have two of those in particular. They're just fantastic, who are very much looking after the clients. And we have sales progression, dedicated sales progression, things like that in-house, professional photography, professional videography. And like you, that's something else that will internalize at some point in the very near future. But I think you've got to set yourself up to do the very, very basics. And if you are setting up a business where you're going to attack the mid to higher end houses, you need to understand what it's going to take and have that consistency to do that, offer that level of service, and eventually replace yourself. So if you're the one that has to turn up at the house 2 hours early and set them up, which we've done, I know you used to do it, Ian, do it. But as soon as you get your first few completions in, you need to seriously think about outsourcing it and get somebody else to do it.
Bring another team member in.
But the other thing with that is that the dynamic in the office changes as well, because the way your proposition looks and how people view you. So, like, for example, if I've gone out and done a valuation, I've done my follow up, they've then rang me up and said, Dave, we want to go ahead. What happens next? It's right. Okay. Well, the next step is, obviously we've got all the compliance bits to do, but my home stylist is going to give you a call, and she's going to come to your house and have an appointment like I've done and talk you through what we need you to do to get your house ready for photography and videography. And she'll also talk you through what she's going to do to help your property get set up for photographs and videography. Because, I don't know if I've ever told you this, lads, you're no longer selling your home, you're selling your buyer's next home. So we're going to present it in the way that we think the target market will buy it. They just love it. And actually, of all the steps in the process that we have, the two game changers for me in my business have been that initial appointment, because I think the right client really values that help and the effort that you go into. And then, of course, video, which is a whole other podcast, which you've already done. But, it all comes back to that team structure and having the right people doing the right things and taking the stuff that you're not good at and shouldn't be wasting your time at. Because, certainly if you are the one that's really driving the business, like for me at the moment, even though we are a bit smaller, I am 100% wasted sat on my laptop doing AML and doing, bringing in home information sheets and property information questionnaires. Of course, you have to mix in and do it sometimes, but my role should just simply be, I should be out seeing new clients, doing my direct mail, making sure all the contacts went, all that sort of stuff.
Yeah,
seeing clients, bringing in new business.
Yeah, I think people might have a slightly different structure to us that works well for them. But I'll just run through again what I said at the start of that, which I think is important. And it's one big cycle, basically. So to get to a really good profit margin, it all starts at the top of the funnel. So attraction agent, you need to be an attraction agent that people want to work with. That will then allow you to charge the right fees. That will then allow you to have the team. That will then allow you to give the service. That will then bring you the results, and that will then bring you the profit. Yeah. But to get the attraction agent, you have to get the results, because people will talk about you to their friends. The amount we go to where we've been recommended by 4 people, you have to get the results to then allow you to be the attraction agent. But you've got to do all these things consistently every single time, and you have to have a decent team to do that. Unless you're working 20 hours a day, which is not sustainable, and who wants to do that? You've got to have the team in place to do it.
And also,
by the way, you've got to make it a fun place to work. So the story, I think I'm right in saying that Team Stories would say it's a fun place to work. It's an enjoyable place to come. And the team know that they don't have to ask me if, like, for instance, Vic's daughter, if she needs something sorting out, Vic knows, she just goes and does it. Don't ask me. She has a personal phone with her on Vic on shoots. So sometimes Vic's on the phone to her daughter or someone that needs her on the shoot in Stories time. That's fine by me. That's completely fine.
Same here, mate, as well. Yeah. And I think the other thing as well, like there's always been, I can't remember which, I think it was in Stephen Bartlett's latest book, where like some CEOs or some like managers or business owners would rather put a slide in their business to show everyone on Instagram they've got a slide in their business that no one ever uses than actually treat their people right and look after their own people. You know, you've got like, you know, people in my business have had issues with family that have had health issues, you know, and I've given them time off paid to go and deal with that. You know, I haven't taken any leave back. I haven't promoted that on social media or anything like that. It's just because they're good people. And, you know, if you look after your people look after you, and they look after your clients as well. And, you know, having a slide and a football table in your business that no one ever uses or gets time to use, great, you know, to signal to everyone how great and progressive you are.
Yeah.
People just want to be looked after.
I would say all the officers of the higher end agents that cover the Cheshire, I bet ours is the scruffiest office. I bet you now it's not polished, it's not shiny.
Well, looking at behind you, mate, I'd agree.
But I tell you what, I bet our team are the happiest, or amongst the happiest of the agents that cover the area we cover.
Yeah.
No, so it's about the vibe in the office and how you treat people. Chilled out, sexy vibe. Right. Anyway, I do think of David Brent quite a lot when I talk about.
You are Brent, Ian Brent. Get your guitar out. Right, I think that's a good place to call it there, is it? I can't speak.
Do you know what? There's loads you could go through on that, and I'm sure that over the coming weeks we'll probably dip in and out of it. But ultimately, you know, from day one, you've got to get it right. Just dead quickly, lads. I know we need to wrap up, but if you're a self-employed agent as well, it's a great fantasy going out and having your own self-employed role and writing loads of business and da-da-da. But you will get to a point where you've got a decent pipeline and a decent number of units that you cannot manage. So you still need a team when you become a self-employed agent. And
I just say as well, this is episode 19. We are almost at the 1%, the 21 episode milestone, where podcasts don't last this long. But so 2 more weeks to go, lads, and then we can call it quits. I always wanted to get to 1%. Anyway, call it nicely there. Thank you very much for listening, as always. And please join us on Facebook. Check out thecompleteagent.co.uk. And we will see you next week. See you next week, lads.
Cheers, guys.
Next week.